Coming up on this episode of DL Weekly, the holiday season is moving into the resort. A new free souvenir is available through mobile order at Avengers Campus.
Disney Merriest Nites tips, along with some of the food available. We talked to Kate and Jude about their Halloween cruise and more. DL Weekly starts now.
Hello, everyone. Welcome aboard the DL Weekly podcast. Please lower your head and watch your step while boarding. If this is your first time listening, we hope you'll check out our website at DLWeekly.net. If you have more time to spend, becoming an official weekly tier at DLWeekly.net/support is an especially good value. Thanks for traveling with us today, and we hope you have a happy and memorable listen to this week's episode.
Hello and welcome to this episode of DL Weekly for the week of November 3rd, 2021. I'm Teresa Urban.
And I'm Tag Bushman. We'd like to send a shout out and a big thank you to all the current weekly tiers for supporting the show. Without your support, DL Weekly would not be possible. We want to take this moment to send out a reminder that if you are a supporter, please go on to Patreon and make sure that your address is up to date, because within the next month and a half, we will be sending out holiday cards to everybody. It doesn't matter what level of support you're at, we send out a holiday card. So please make sure that you have the most updated address in there. Also, might be a good time if you're listening to this and you are a supporter, make sure that all your other information in there is correct as well, so everything can process smoothly and you don't miss out on anything. If you'd like to become an official weekly tier yourself and get one of those holiday cards from us, head on over to DLWeekly.net/support to sign up.
The other fun thing, too, that I just want to quickly mention is we do a supporter community ornament exchange. So if you are an official weekly tier and a supporter on Patreon, head on over. Either you can check it out in the Discord chat. Otherwise, the link is also posted on Patreon now. But you can check out our ornament exchange. We first started this last year was the first one. So second annual ornament exchange. Tons and tons of fun. So what we do is we use a program and kind of do this random name generator thing. Everyone gets a name. You also get you can also create lists of what you like so that your secret elf knows kind of what to get you, or will get you something exactly off of your list. But then we send them to each other. We wait very patiently. That's probably the hardest part, to open them until we have our group Zoom call where we kind of all come together, open our gifts, find out who our secrets elves are, that sort of thing. Tons and tons of fun. And it's just a great, fun way to get in the holiday spirit, too. So if you're a supporter and you're interested in that, please head over to Patreon to sign up. You do need to sign up by this Sunday, November 7th, because we're trying to get the names drawn as soon as we can, since we are going to be experiencing some delays with the postal system. And then the actual Zoom or the actual hangout for opening all the gifts is on December 16th.
Yeah, this was really fun last year. Everybody had so much fun, and it was really cool to see what different people got for ornaments and stuff. And, it's a nice little thing. You get to put on your tree, then, that's a cool little thing. And you make some friends over the internet that are also Disney fans. It's kind of like the best part about our community, I think, is just the friends you make. So
yes. Well, it's that time again for our friend Eric over at Concierge to catch us up on other Disney news.
Hello, everyone. This is Eric Johnson with Concierge, and welcome to the D180. While Tech and Teresa cover all things Disneyland, in the D180 we take a spin around the rest of the Disney universe, and we do it in 180 seconds. Let's jump right in. We start our journey at Walt Disney World, where the holidays are imminent. Disney always pulls out all the stops for innovative treats, and this year is no exception. From savory to sweet to, different? Sure, we'll use that. Disney's chefs have a lot in store for us this year. Let's start with the savory. Thanksgiving turkey dinners are standards at places like Liberty Tree Tavern in the Magic Kingdom, but what about the other parks? Disney's Animal Kingdom steps up this year, showing its culinary expertise. Try a traditional dinner with a twist at Tiffin's. If the turkey and cranberry is too much, try out their apple-brined pork T-bone with ginger pear butter or roasted squash soup. Head to Restaurantosaurus for a post-Turkey Day open-faced turkey sandwich deconstructed to mix and match your favorite parts with cornbread stuffing and fried sage leaves. If you want to stay out of the parks, venture to Jock Lindsay's Hangar Bar at Disney Springs for venison sausage sliders or holiday-colored deviled eggs. Maybe the daily poutine is more your style with turkey, gravy, cranberry chutney, and cheese curds over French fries. If sweets are your thing, the parks definitely have you covered. Try a gingerbread almond cake pop at the Magic Kingdom, or fill up with a gingerbread funnel cake topped with apple pie filling, vanilla ice cream, and caramel sauce. At Hollywood Studios, feast on apple pie tart with cinnamon icing at Woody's Lunchbox in Toy Story Land. The Muppet-themed Pizza Rizzo offers a holiday cannoli stuffed with caramel cheesecake. If you head to the Backlot Express near Star Tours, you'll find a red velvet whoopie pie that I can practically taste just reading about. Now for the, odd? Innovative? Unique? No, sorry, I think it's odd when food looks like different food. Am I wrong here? We all know and love the interstellar delights at the Satuli Canteen in Animal Kingdom's Pandora, the world of Avatar. Well, the Na'vi chefs have cooked up a pumpkin cheesecake mousse that looks like, a pumpkin. A very glossy pumpkin made of cheesecake perched atop chocolate dirt with cranberry boba pearls. Peep the pics, folks. If this one really looks like the promos, it will be super wild. Tiffin's is a high-end restaurant at Animal Kingdom that will offer similar signature desserts. Try the apple pie cheesecake, where the cake resembles a glossy green apple atop cranberry sauce. Maybe the horchata snow globe is more your style, with coffee cream, a gingerbread cookie, elderflower meringue, and bourbon caramel. Too much to talk about as usual. If you want to travel further afield, check out the deals with Adventures by Disney. Their popular Danube River cruise is on sale this year for $500 off per person. Guests can book their trips up to December 6th for departures on December 20th. Take a leisurely cruise along one of Europe's greatest rivers through Germany, Austria, and Hungary, visiting various Christmas markets along the way. These adventures are almost never discounted, so you should look into this deal now. And that's 180 seconds. I hope you enjoyed our quick spin around the rest of the Disney universe. If you would like to learn more about these Disney adventures or just have a few questions, please come on over. Visit the social media and websites of both DL Weekly and us, their official travel planners concierges. We look forward to planning something special for you and your family. I am Eric Johnson, and this has been your D180.
Well, thanks, Eric, for giving us a tour of the other rest of the Disney universe. Now let's get to the news. Now through November 6th, guests visiting PIM Test Kitchen and order through the mobile ordering system will get a special bonus. A PIM Test Kitchen button featuring the Impossible Spoonful and promoting mobile ordering will be given to guests free with a mobile order. The button is limited to one per entree while supplies last.
One per entree. That's interesting. So if I mobile order 4 entrees, I could get 4 buttons?
I think so. That's at least what the food blog said.
You know, this is something fun. They started doing this quite a while ago. I think they started doing this pre-park closure to really promote mobile ordering when it was, brand spanking new.
When you had an option.
Yes, when people didn't know what it was, and people weren't like flooding the system. So it's interesting that they're doing this again. I mean, it's fun, right? Who doesn't love a free little souvenir? Plus, I don't know what it is about the button. Okay, maybe not this specific button is not my favorite, but I just love the fun little buttons that they give out. They're fun, free little souvenirs, and I just like them. So
the other reminder,
it looks like the button is going to be available while supplies last, of course, this week. So get out there if you're wanting one of these PIM Test Kitchen buttons. Get out there sooner rather than later to place your mobile order.
It's a neat looking thing. I love when Disney gives out free stuff. Buttons are one of those things Disney just really loves, and people really love them. Guests really love them.
Did you see that? There's a hidden Mickey on the Impossible Meatball.
Oh, yeah, there is.
Oh, what a cute, fun detail. I like it.
Of course there's going to be a hidden Mickey on the meatball.
Well, with Halloween behind us, the Disneyland Resort can move into their full holiday season. This, of course, includes merchandise. There is just a ton of items that have hit the shelves around the resort. Some notable items include a matching Spirit jersey and hat, a Wishables 12-day countdown calendar, which has 12 different exclusive Wishables to complete the set, some Hanukkah-themed items, and more. More and more holiday-themed offerings should be showing up around the resort over the next few weeks.
So, we're just going to see an onslaught of merchandise coming soon. There's some Spirit jerseys with some flannel things that look pretty cute.
Okay. We got to talk about the Spirit jerseys for a second here. You are not a Spirit jersey person. How do you feel about these?
I still don't like them.
You don't like that one? I love the one that looks like a Christmas sweater. I love it.
I like the design on it. I just don't like the way a Spirit jersey is laid out. Like, I don't like how big the words is and it goes down your like shoulders. I'd rather it just be limited to my back. And so, like, the design of a Spirit jersey. If this was a T-shirt and things like fit on the back, I'd be happier.
Well, now that one's just limited to your back.
Not really. It also goes to the arm. It's just how the picture's showing.
I don't know. There, we'll get you that one.
No,
Donald, that says Bah Humbug.
The color is really ugly to me. It's kind of a cream color.
Yep, that's why you're getting the Bah Humbug one.
I like the shirt with Mickey and Minnie on the front. I mean, they've got a lot of T-shirts and stuff.
There's just
pajama pants.
I can't get
all
over
the dogs. Santa paws.
I know. I just can't get over how it feels to me like we've got way more holiday merch offering this year than you. I don't know why, but it just feels like a ton. There's also some really cute pins. They didn't even have this in the Mice Chat article that we got this information from. Some really great pins. I'm obsessed with one pin that we were talking about in our Discord chat that is, of course, Haunted Mansion holiday themed, but it is the Haunted Mansion in gingerbread form, and then you've got the hitchhiking ghosts in the front on like a snow-covered hill doing their little hitchhiking thing, and there's these little like gumdrops on like the snow with it's so cute.
It seems like the big theme this year is like Mickey and Minnie celebrating at like a ski lodge or something. It seems like that's kind of the theme, which I actually kind of like. And it looks like they went with more of a classic. It's not that new animated Mickey look.
True. Yep.
Which is nice, but some of the stuff.
Well, and some of the things even look a little like vintage and a little retro looking too. Check out that monorail ornament and train ornament. So many cool things.
What do you think about this Wishables like collection? You can collect all 12 of them. It's like an advent calendar of Wishables. Are you not a big Wishable fan in general?
Wishables I think are very cute. I just can't get into another collection thing because I've gone down the rabbit hole of pins and seem to have tons and tons and tons of pins. I just bought a bunch of pins from Pinderella's sale today, in fact, but they're fun. And Wishables could be a problem for me too because I really like, and you know this, I really like those blind pin bags.
Yes.
They're so much fun. And you know what Wishables are? They also have blind bags. So
my goodness.
I don't know. It's so much fun. It's so fun and exciting not knowing what you're getting and like hoping for something.
But see, that's the part I don't like about it because I don't want to spend money and not get what I want.
Sure.
But I can understand like the game because it's almost like gambling, right? It's like, what am I going to get? But you like sit there and feel
I try and figure out. I try and see if I can guess.
And
what
you've
the
been
pin
really
is.
good.
I've done a pretty good.
You've only had one that wasn't a D that you wanted, right?
No, I've had a couple more than that. But the thing that I like about pins is if I don't like it, I can trade it. Whereas I feel like Wishables, you can't like go trade Wishables in the park like you can trade with pins. So I'm sticking with pins. But I mean,
pins are easier to get rid of if you don't like something for sure. Disneyland Resort hours for the holiday season through December 13th have been posted on Disneyland.com. Disneyland will open at 8 a.m. daily now through December 13th, with the park closing at midnight, November 17th through the 29th, and most of December 1st through the 13th. The park will close at 7 p.m. on Disney Merriest Nites nights, which are November 30th, December 7th, and December 9th. It will also close at 10 p.m. on December 2nd. Disney California Adventure will be open from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. November 17th through December 13th, closing early at 8 p.m. on December 8th. So, pretty good hours. I'm glad we're back up to, like, not super limited.
So this might be a silly question, but do we know why DC is closing early on December 8th?
I do not. I assume that it's maybe for a corporate party or something, like a corporate Christmas party or something.
Yeah, maybe. I'm going to hope that maybe it's a cast member party. That would be fun. But that's just interesting because usually the only time that we see the resort closing early like that is for something like Merriest Nites, Oogie Boogie Bash, some other Disney event that you can get into, some extra ticketed thing. So that just caught me off guard.
I still wish, and if they're not going to do it during the holiday season, they're never going to do it again. I really wish that they, sometime when I'm there, would open from 8 a.m. to 1 a.m. because I really miss being in the park that late at night because I love nighttime. Although it does get dark earlier during this
Yep.
time of year, which would be another reason that I would like to go during this season.
Well, the Disney Parks blog posted some tips for ticket holders for this year's Disney Merriest Nites at Disneyland. Some of the tips are pretty standard, like arriving early to get more time in Disneyland. They also talk about the merchandise to buy and getting PhotoPass photos. The other tips covered were what the 6 themed holiday parties are and what they included. They listed some of the food offerings for the event, also what attractions would be open.
Yeah, it was funny because it was like, here's some tips. It's like, go to the park when your ticket allows you to go in. Make sure that you use your Disney PhotoPass. Buy some merchandise. And I was okay.
I think they're good. Maybe not tips, but reminders.
Sure.
Maybe we should call them reminders.
But they called them tips.
They did. Yeah. Yes, they did. So we're going to get into the food later. But I just wanted to go back over this because I'd kind of forgotten about this party. So for those of you like me that may have forgotten, there is on Main Street, there's a Victorian theme party with the host of the party is Mickey Mouse, but you also get to see different characters like Kermit the Frog, Miss Kit Piggy, their friends, the Muppets, of course, some chickens, because I feel like there's always chickens with the Muppets, but they're going to be doing like Christmas carols and that sort of thing. Over in Frontierland, there's the Feliz Navidad party. You can sing, dance, and enjoy a fiesta with Miguel from Coco. Head on over to New Orleans for a New Orleans holiday. You can join Tiana, and there's going to be, of course, tunes, holiday jazz. Mark Twain's going to do some stuff, too. Over in Fantasyland, Frozen. So, flurry of celebration with Miss Elsa over there. Anna and Olaf will probably be around as well. Tropical Party in Adventureland with Lilo and Stitch. And Tomorrowland, this is kind of the interesting one for me. Tomorrowland is like a DJ dance party with Buzz Lightyear.
I mean, that could be cool. I just saw a comment on this Disney Parks blog post that we haven't talked about yet, and we haven't heard anything about, and that is the candy canes.
Oh, yes.
The question was, are they going to do candy canes this year?
I did see that, and Disney has not commented on that yet.
That would be good for their holiday party if they sold the candy canes during the holiday party.
Like, if they would have told everyone that ahead of, like, the sales,
they would have
sold out instantly. But they do have some, of course, cute Disney Merriest Nites merchandise. I think they're fun little, like, just there's a long sleeve t-shirt and a short sleeve t-shirt and a tumbler that they show here. Again, a reminder that you do have unlimited access to Disney PhotoPass during this event as well. So take some great holiday pictures by some great Disney photographers as well, because why not?
Go ahead.
I was going to say, and then of course we've got a Christmas Fantasy Parade, which begins at 9:30 each night.
I hope that in the future that this continues to get better, because I feel like, especially for the price, because the price was more than like the Oogie Boogie Bash, and I feel like you're not getting as much here, but we'll have to wait and see what it's actually like.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting too, because the other thing that we may or may not ever really know is, was the ticket price higher because maybe there's fewer tickets?
Maybe. I doubt it. I feel like that's not really...
Yeah, I don't know, but there's got to be some sort of reasoning other than, well, that's just what we're going to charge. But
yeah,
maybe that is the reasoning. Who knows? Yeah.
Well, like I said, I hope it gets better as time goes on. I do like the idea of like little, like, you're obviously going to the Merriest Nites like party or whatever, or event, I guess, and then there's all these like sub parties. It's like parties inside of parties.
I think it's fun.
Very Inception, I guess, with that. Well, the Disney Food blog has a list of some of the items coming to the Merriest Nites at Disneyland throughout the 6 different parties. There are more than 20 snacks, treats, and drinks. From the andouille sausage po' boy at the French Market to the sippin' chocolate with dip and waffle at Jolly Holiday Bakery Cafe, there is something for everyone attending. Guests will get to try these fun treats starting November 11th, when the first party will commence.
There's so much food. So for Oogie Boogie Bash, for those of you that went, or maybe those of you that know, they had like 2, 3 handful. There was not very many specific to the party food items for Oogie Boogie Bash. This, on the other hand, is almost like it's almost like it's a food event. They've got so many specialty items specific for this event. Some of them I think look delicious. Some of them maybe not so much. I'm looking at you, Thanksgiving leftover burger.
What? That's funny. I actually was kind of excited about the Thanksgiving leftover burger.
That's all you? I want, that does not look very good to me.
I think it's cranberries.
For sure, cranberries on top there. So they've only showed,
and the waffle.
They've only teased on these things. They haven't actually given specifics on what they are. So like the cranberry, like we were just discussing, the Thanksgiving leftover burger that will be served at Galactic Grill. They have a photo of it, but they don't explain exactly what it is yet.
Sure.
But this looks delightful to me. There's a Paradise Party float that you're going to be able to get at the Tropical Hideaway. It's got
cinnamon.
some sort of, it looks like it's a maybe a raspberry Dole Whip in some sort of blue. I don't know. It looks great.
The cinnamon fry bread looks pretty good. It's got like a guitar because it's themed after Coco. Remember me, cinnamon fry bread?
That one looks good too.
And then, the neon blue color.
The neon blue frozen flurry that you can get at the Red Rose Tavern. I'm not sure what that is. It looks maybe like it's a slushie with whipped cream on top. Again, they don't actually have details. They're just tempting us with these teaser photos here.
I don't know. I love the color of that. There's something about like bright colors. It reminds me of stuff like when you'd go and get like a Slurpee or slushie or something from like a 7-Eleven or something.
Yeah. So anyways, we're excited to hear more about the food. I didn't know that the food was going to be one of it's the unknown seventh party of the Disney's Merriest Night is the food.
I mean, Disney's been knocking food out of the park, so I'm excited to see what reviews of these things are like in just a few days.
Yeah. Well, we have talked a lot about the procedures for in-show exits for guests from some of our favorite attractions. Well, this week, Pirates of the Caribbean broke down and could not be restarted after 90 minutes. Riders were evacuated by Disneyland cast members as well as members of the Disneyland Fire Department. To see some pictures and an account of the ordeal, check out the link in our show notes to the Orange County Register article.
So I think I'm not sure why the Orange County Register was like, oh, this thing, other than maybe it was like 90 minutes. And also, if you look at the photo credits, the Riverside Press Enterprise, one of the photographers for that was on one of the boats. So that's where some of these pictures came from and a good account. But you know what I'm going to look for next time? And I saw in one of these pictures, there is a handrail that I have never seen before. So I feel like as we go through next time, I'm really going to have to like look at these things because I've never noticed it before. But I also just feel, and we've talked about this numerous times on the show, I feel for these cast members that have to get in their hip waders and push the boats around. But I tell you, I would love to be evacuated off of this attraction. This is one of my like tippy top in-show exit attractions.
See, this is one that I think I wouldn't be super mad about it, but it sounds though it takes a while. If you have to get in-show exited off of Pirates, it's never like 15 minutes or something. It's always kind of a long wait, kind of long ordeal. I think the same of Small World, I think, is always kind of a long wait. When we got stuck on Indiana Jones, I want to say that we probably weren't moving for like 15.
Oh, at least.
15,
it was probably
20 minutes.
Yeah, at least.
But then we got to go. Yeah, then we got to go. But we got to go through it. We didn't have to actually get out and walk off. So we still got the fun of going through the attraction with the lights on, might I add. And then when we got to the load unload, the cast member asked if we wanted to go again. Of course, we said yes. I did seriously have to laugh though, because one of the people in the back of our Jeep was like, well, is it going to work this time? Before she would commit to going on it again.
Right.
She was brave, did it again. No, we didn't get stuck a second time, so that was great. But so, I mean, that was still fun. Whereas Pirates, I think you're sitting there for a very long while, and then you get pushed by these poor cast members to a place that you can actually unload the boat, and then you just get off and go about your day.
Guests for this one, though, we're rewarded with 2 front-of-the-line fast passes for any ride in the park, with the exception of Haunted Mansion Holiday and Rise of the Resistance, of course, the 2 most popular attractions in the park. But if you think about that, I mean, Pirates is a people eater, so there's probably a few hundred people in the attraction. So 2 fast passes to basically skip the line. I can see why you wouldn't want to do that for Haunted Mansion Holiday or Rise, because that could make a big impact with that many people stuck on this. But I do kind of wish, especially since it was 90 minutes, I feel like, I mean, I guess that's the equivalent maybe of waiting in line for 2 attractions. You know what I mean? Like trying to make up your day.
Yeah.
So that would kind of kill the queue for that.
Balance
but
it out a little.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I don't know.
That's a good way to
another
look at it.
thing we didn't talk about in the news, but I saw today was they're having lighting problems again over at Splash Mountain. Did you see this?
Yeah.
The outside, apparently there's like no exterior lighting at night for Splash Mountain.
I'm sure Splash is just kind of in this weird limbo right now because they know that they're going to be changing it over.
But when?
But when? So it's kind of this weird balance of how much do you put into it now because you know it's all going to be changed and taken out recently or maybe not so recently. Who knows?
Right. Well, union cast member negotiations with Disney have not been going perfectly. The unions that represent Disneyland cast members have been fighting for higher increases in hourly pay, along with more recognition for the long-term cast members. Disneyland responded with a proposal to increase the non-tipped minimum wage to $17 an hour, beginning as early as December 15th, and $18 an hour beginning June 16th, 2023. This could affect approximately 10,000 cast members at the resort.
You know, this is always kind of a sticky thing. And, you know, for us, you know, maybe $17 and $18 an hour starting sounds wonderful. But you got to remember, this is Southern California. So things are much, much more expensive there. I'm trying to remember because when we were out there it may have been when we were out there in July. I want to say one of the McDonald's right across the street was advertising that they were hiring. And to kind of put things in perspective, I think McDonald's across the street from Disneyland was paying somewhere like around like $17, $18 an hour. So it's just hard. And then the other thing too is, okay, you raise the starting wage to $17, $18 an hour, but then where does that put all the people that have been there prior to that? You know, what if you started even like 2 months ago and you started at say $15 an hour? I would hope that they'd at least bump you up to the 17, but you also have been there for a couple of months. So, you know, and then you've got the people that have been there for years and years and years. So it's just, hopefully they can figure something out and they figure something out that's fair. We all know if it wasn't for the cast members, yes, the buildings are magical. Yes, the rides are great. But if it wasn't for the cast members, we wouldn't be able to do and experience any of these things. They are the heart of the resort.
Yeah, and Disney's got to be a little bit careful here because, first of all, if these union cast members go on strike, the park's not going to be able to operate because they're already not at full capacity with staffing anyway. They are kind of trying to. The take I've seen on it is Disney is kind of trying to strong arm them. They're saying, "Hey, we'll agree to $17 an hour by December 15th and $18 by June 16th, 2023." But you have to agree to this by November 8th, I think it is. Otherwise, like that deal goes off the table. So we'll have to see what happens.
The other thing that I think is kind of a hard pill, especially to swallow now of all times, is these poor cast members have been working their tails off. They have been working in not great conditions because, we're still in COVID times. We still have all sorts of precautions. They're still short staffed, so they're working harder than they were working before. They're, you know, having to cover shifts because people are calling out because of this, that, or the other. There's just not as many people. Plus, we're seeing ticket prices increase. We're seeing parking increases. So I think it's a little hard to understand how Disney is increasing things as far as what the guests are paying to go experiencing these services. And then when the cast members go to Disney and say, hey, we think we deserve a raise. Can we have a raise? They kind of get the cold shoulder. I can't imagine what that might feel like. And again, cast members are the heart of the resort. We got to be really careful. Like Disney has to be really careful with this because if they decide that they're not gonna, I mean, what are you gonna do if they go on strike?
Well, and the other thing too is I've seen a lot of reporting about this lately. When Disneyland opened, and for the first few years Disneyland was open for sure, up until I want to say like the 80s, I think was what was quoted in one of the articles I was reading, is they used to be like a premier place to work. Like they had a really good benefits. So not only, I mean, benefits in the typical thing of like health and vision and dental and all that, but they also had like parties, like holiday parties that people could go to. They still have the canoe races, which is good, but like they used to have all these additional things that people could do. They used to be able to be allowed to come in with their front gate passes more often than they are now. So it's just that they've whittled away all of these perks that came with the job that made them a place that you wanted to work for all of those benefits. And they were saying that, you know, you could go across the street or down the street to, a restaurant or something and get paid more than you would at Disneyland, and you get better benefits. Somebody was saying In-N-Out pays more You get a free burger during your working shift or whatever. You get discounts and all this other stuff. So why would you pick Disneyland when there's so much like blockout dates for the tickets? You're not having those holiday parties anymore, that type of thing. And they're fighting with this. And I understand for Disney, it's hard because, raising a wage from like, let's say 15 to 17, okay, it's only $2 an hour. But they have, just this union has 10,000 cast members.
Yeah.
So you're looking at $20,000 per hour per each of those cast members to be there. That's a lot of money. So, and I know ticket prices are high and it's a very complex situation, which is why there's no easy answer. But I just hope for both Disneyland's sake and for the cast members' sake, they work out something that they're both happy with and that guests can continue to come in and enjoy Disneyland and have cast members that really, truly want to be there and are being fairly compensated for their work. And I'm sure, hopefully, we'll get there.
Yes.
Psst, avast there. It'd be too late to alter course, mateys. And there be trivia questions lurking in every cove, waiting to be answered. Listen close and keep your ruddy Disney knowledge handy. That be the best way to answer correctly. And mark well me words, mateys. Dead men tell no tales. You come seeking questions and long-lost Disney information, eh? Sure, you come to the proper place, but keep a weather eye open, mates, and hold on tight with both hands, if you please. There be squalls ahead, and James and Vern waiting for them what don't answer correctly.
Welcome to Trivia Land, where we're going to have 4 questions for you tonight. No bonus, because I couldn't find the one I was thinking of. So, how we feeling? You think you got some good answers in you?
Well, the bonus can either help us or hurt us.
I want to know what queue you're in.
What? No, I can't find it.
Oh, you lost the queue.
The spreadsheet got rearranged, and I can't find where my things are in it now. So I got to talk to producer James and see what he's been doing with
Good
things.
old producer James, moving things around.
Yep. So I'm sure it's around somewhere, and I don't know where. So
we'll find it.
So yeah, no bonus tonight. Sorry. But you think you got it? You ready? You excited?
I hope so.
Okay.
It's always an adventure.
Yes. So tonight's questions are inspired by listener Jan Y.
Ooh.
That's Jan with 2 N's. I say inspired by because there was one question asked by Jan Y, and that'll be the first question. And then the next 3 questions are because of the rabbit hole that I fell down as I was researching to make sure that we had the correct answer provided by
We don't
Jan.
know
And
anything about what it's like to fall down a rabbit hole.
We're in trouble now because Vern has caught the Teresa research bug.
No, because I like to always vet the answers that I have, just to make sure that Trivia Land stays as accurate as it can be. And, usually it's just a quick, okay, put it into Google. Google confirms it. All right, we're good to go. But every now and then I'm like, wow, this is actually a really interesting one. I'm going to fall down this hole. And I fell down this hole, and I like this one. This is a very fun category to me. So here we go. So thank you, Jan Y. I enjoyed this rabbit hole, and I'm probably going to fall back into it again. And let's see how you two enjoy this. So your first question, the one that was actually provided. Where can you find the home of the little man of Disneyland?
Oh,
it's Adventureland.
He lives in Adventureland outside of
The Indie Queue, right?
Yeah, it's outside of the Indie Queue / outside of Tarzan's treehouse area.
Yeah, it's kind of I would
in-
say between the two,
I would say
guess.
it's kind of between the two, yeah.
Just like a little door, a little
So
chimney.
cute, it's a little chimney. I think there might
there's a
even be a
book
tiny
even.
mailbox too.
I think there is. And then there's a book
Mhm.
that talks about him as well. I
Is
feel
that
good.
your final answer?
Yeah.
Final answer.
But now I'm worried about the next 3 questions.
Me too.
So you've already referenced that you know that there is a book about the little man of Disneyland.
Oh,
In what year was that book published?
no.
I feel like it was recent, wasn't it? Because it was. They were all about it on.
Recent?
Yeah. 2000.
Really?
18? Maybe.
Do you think 2018?
Maybe they
Okay.
republished it.
I was going to say, I feel like it probably was
wasn't it like a little golden book? I thought it was something like that.
Yeah, something like that. I was thinking it was in like...
Oh, yes. To be fair, I originally wrote the question as, in what year did Little Golden Books publish The Little Man of Disneyland?
See, I knew something about it. Did it originally publish? See, maybe it got re-released, and that's what I'm thinking of. But I'm going to stick with my 2018.
I think it's earlier than that.
My other guess would be like in the 70s or something.
I'm thinking sometime in the 70s or the 80s. When did Indy open?
95.
Because I would almost think maybe it'd be around that time that because of the location.
But I feel like they
feel like
installed that stuff more recently.
Really?
Like I don't think that door and stuff was there when Indy opened, but I could be wrong. I've basically given all my information I already know about this.
I'm gonna. Dang, I don't know. I'm thinking the 70s, but I don't. For some reason, I'm gonna say 98.
98? Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like it's probably the 70s or the 80s.
Third question. The Little Man of Disneyland has a name. Do you know it?
Oh, goodness. It's like
Irish name.
Finnegan or Finian.
It's something like that. Flanagan.
I'm going to say it's Finnegan. I don't know what Finnegan's last name. Oh, laughing.
Phineas O'Shaughnessy. I know that's not right. I
don't even know how to... Okay, F-I-N.
Well, how do you think Vern's going to feel?
What did you say? Phineas
O'Shaughnessy.
Shaughnessy?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Are you spelling that the northern or southern style? Final answers?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Okay. And your fourth and final question tonight. The story of The Little Man of Disneyland has it that 3 well-known Disney characters negotiated with the Little Man in order to build Disneyland on his property. Who were these 3 great negotiators?
I think we already know question 2 is wrong. Because if it was him trying to...
Oh, yeah, but the story could be...
I don't know.
Like written later.
I'll say Mickey.
Mickey and Minnie, I feel. And... Clue? No. Who else? Like, I feel like it'd be one of the big ones, right? It probably wouldn't be Donald. I feel like Donald doesn't negotiate with anybody. Goofy? Goofy. I'll go with Goofy. Mickey, Minnie, and Goofy. Because why not?
Teresa, are you agreeing?
No.
The cartoon variation of Walt Disney. No.
There you go. I'm going to say Mickey, Jiminy Cricket.
Jiminy Cricket. And?
I'm thinking.
No Minnie love, huh?
All in time in 5.
Oh, goodness sakes. Give me a second.
4,
I was distracted by Luna. Mickey,
3,
Jiminy Cricket, and...
2, 1. Name somebody, please.
Oh, my goodness. The Mad Hatter.
The Mad Hatter.
He seems like a very
Didn't
logical
Alice in Wonderland
choice.
come out later?
He did, but I had to I had to pull something up. Maybe it was Mr. Toad. Thaddeus Toad. That's it. I'm going to say Mr. Toad.
You're saying Thaddeus Toad.
Yep.
So
Okay.
Mickey, Jiminy Cricket, and Mr. Toad.
What a collection
I
of
like it.
negotiators.
Okay, then. Final answer.
Yeah.
Written down. All right.
Oh, that's our
well,
last one.
listeners, what do you think they knew about the Little Man of Disneyland?
Not
much.
very
How
much.
much did you know listening at home? Do you think everybody got all the right answers? Stay tuned until after the discussion topic, and we'll all find out.
Well, this week for the show, we have a special guest, Kate. She is one of our community managers, so you've probably heard us talking about her before. She's wonderful, huge Disney fan, but she and her daughter actually just recently went on a Disney cruise, so she's here to tell us all about that. So welcome, Kate. We're excited to have you.
Thanks. I'm excited to be here.
Well, we're going to start off like we always do with some of our normal questions. Now, you've been on before. I think you've been on before for part of a news segment.
Hmm?
Have you ever been on any of our like roundtables or anything? No, huh?
No, never.
Oh, well, then we get to hear all this for the first time. So tell us your Disney story. What got you interested in Disney or Disneyland?
So my grandparents actually lived in Anaheim when I was growing up, about 5 minutes away from the parks. So I really grew up going to Disneyland a lot. Back then, like going 6 times a year felt like a lot because this was before annual passes. But we would go a lot. And then when we weren't going to Disneyland, we would go a lot just to the Disneyland Hotel to watch the dancing waters and walk through the waterfalls. And back then there was really great shopping and the little boats that you could control. So we would go and do that on like a Friday night as a family and just, stand in the yard of my grandparents' house and watching the fireworks. So really my whole childhood was a Disney bubble.
Were you interested in like the movies, or was it just like, was the park the thing for you?
A little bit. I grew, because of my age, I grew up, I feel like there's always been Disney movies, but it wasn't like the golden age on either
Sure.
side. I grew up in kind of a weird time where we didn't have a lot of the really big Disney movies.
Sure.
So as an adult, I wasn't super into the Disney movies until I had Jude. So Disneyland and the parks have always been my focus, but I do love them, and I love Pixar a lot. So I'm glad that that's part of the family now.
So when you're entering Disneyland on the first day of your visit, which way do you like to go?
So I have thought a lot about this because I have been listening to the podcast for a while, and the honest truth is I don't think I have a pattern. I am a weirdo, and sometimes I just want to hang out on Main Street for a while. So I just do that. And then, it'll take me an hour or longer to get into the lands. A lot of times now, because Small World is Jude's favorite ride, we will ride that first. So that's, if I had a pattern, it would be that at this stage in my life. But
all right. So maybe an easier question. What is your favorite attraction?
That's not an easy question.
Your question,
Right?
your
That's what I was
answer,
like.
not Jude's favorite attraction.
But it's still not an easy question to answer. If someone really pressed me, I think I would say Space Mountain,
Oh.
because it was the very first roller coaster I ever rode.
Oh,
And I have a really distinct memory of it because I was crying the whole queue. My sister and I both just in hysterics.
well, at least it wasn't crying in hysterics after you got off the
This
attraction.
No, but I
sounds
loved
vaguely
it.
familiar because that was me on the Haunted Mansion the
Yeah.
first time.
But
Totally
I
different
rode
attraction, though.
Yeah.
I wrote it, and I was really proud of myself for writing it, and I loved it, and I've loved roller coasters ever since. So I think I would choose, and still to this day, I mean, I feel like I'm grinning the whole time I'm on it. It hits all the spots for me. Just makes me grin from ear to ear the whole time.
The last time Teresa and I were there and we rode it, both times we rode it, like halfway through,
Oh, yeah.
the sound cut out, and it was kind of more thrilling that way. It was kind of because you could hear more things and you could hear other people screaming because the music is usually so loud
Yeah.
on it. So that was an interesting. I know that we enjoyed that variant of that. Have you ridden it without sound? I mean, before it had sound probably, but I mean recently.
No, I don't think so.
No?
Honestly, for as long as I've been going to Disneyland, I've had very, very few weird attraction things. I've never had an in-show exit other than on Jesse's Critter Carousel.
That doesn't count.
It doesn't count. I have to count it because it's my only one. I've never had, the occasional animatronic that's not working, but nothing really super weird.
She's like you.
That's good, though.
Well, I mean, unless you want to have it, like you want to have an in-show exit. We were so excited when Indy stopped.
I think riding Indy with the lights on was better
That was
than
pretty
getting an
cool.
in-show exit.
Wouldn't you have liked to have walked through it, though? That would have been super cool.
We wouldn't have been able to see as much, though.
I
I think they
suppose.
would have, shuffled us out quicker
Yeah,
than what
probably.
we would have seen. So, Kate, thank you again for coming on and talking with us about your cruise. Let's first just talk about what cruise was this for? What was the theme of this cruise?
So we went on a Halloween on the High Seas cruise, which I love Halloween. So it was definitely a bucket list item for me to go on a Halloween themed Disney cruise because all of my favorite things together on one boat.
That's awesome. Was this your first Disney cruise?
This was my first Disney cruise. We had gone on a couple cruises when I was a kid, but that was long before Disney had a cruise line.
Now, I don't want to give you some post-traumatic stress or anything, but can you share like the journey you went on to get to this cruise? Because it was definitely a journey.
Oh, it was quite a journey. So we originally booked a cruise. I believe it was winter of 2019 that we booked. And the original date we had was October of 2020. So obviously that got canceled, but it was quite a while. I think it was July or August before they actually officially canceled the cruise. So I still had to go through all of the signing up for activities and all the like pre stuff you do before you get on the ship. And then they did cancel it, but Disney, really took care of us, and we got 125% credit if we rebooked.
Oh, wow.
And we worked with, I was working with James over at Concierge. He really just navigated all of that for us, which was great. And we did. We had our onboard credit when we did finally sail in on the same week in 2021. And when we rebooked, I was like, oh, it'll be fine. It'll be totally fine. We'll be beyond COVID and this will for sure sail. But of course, things did not go quite as we thought they would. And we were getting closer and closer. And I was hoping we would sail, but trying not to get my hopes up and not get too excited about it and not really do a lot of planning, because in the back of my head was like, oh, it's not going to happen. It's not really going to happen. So it was about a month before we sailed that they finally gave the word that the Wonder was going to sail for sure. And then I had to do all the planning and all the things I would have been doing over months.
Do you know how long before your cruise was the Wonder back in service, or were you one of the first cruises?
We were either the second or the third cruise.
Oh, wow.
Well, that must have been exciting
Yeah.
I'm sure the crew was really happy to finally have guests again and be doing something.
Yeah, I think so. They seem to be really excited about it, and to be back at work, because the cruise had crew members from all over the world. So it was, I'm sure, exciting for them to get back to reality.
I had seen, not a Disney cruise, I had seen a video of a guy who was doing YouTube videos through the pandemic. He was a employee of a cruise line, and it was really interesting because they actually, in his case, they kept kind of a skeleton crew on for a long time, because the boats, a lot of times they couldn't dock places or like all these different things. So what they were doing, and I thought this was really interesting, is they had the boats kind of like anchored out by like the Bahamas or something, and they would have like one ship would come in and like get provisions and stuff and then go out, and then like they would disseminate it against the other cruise ships, and then they'd have to like refuel and stuff. And they kept these skeleton crews out there on these cruise ships. It's just so interesting, because like, what else are you going to do if you let the boat just sit, the seawater and everything else and everything? I mean, we saw from Disneyland, trams sitting out and attractions, World of Color, because things don't run, things deteriorate quickly.
I'm sure that's what I know. I don't remember where, but they were anchored because, it cost them money to be in a dock. So they would anchor somewhere else, but I'm not sure where. I know they anchored somewhere. Not near here, but I'm not sure where.
So, Kate, tell us what was the process? So now it's a month before. Okay, it's going to happen. Quickly trying to plan, but what was the process that you and Jude had to go through before you're actually able to get on the boat?
So, I mean, there's always a process for going on a Disney cruise. You sign up for onboard activities a certain amount of time ahead of time, based on your level. The more cruises you've been on, the higher your what is it called? Castaway Club, I think. Let me look.
That sounds right.
Yeah. I just got my first email the other day because I'm a member now.
Ooh, official.
But newbies, it's the longest or the shortest amount of time before the cruise that you get to sign up. So everyone gets first dibs before the brand new people.
Oh.
But I think because a lot of people weren't signed up for this cruise, I didn't have any trouble getting all the activities that I wanted to sign up for.
That's awesome. What were some of the activities that were available that you got to choose
So
from?
there aren't as many activities on board available right now, just because a lot of things are not doing because of the COVID precautions. But we were still able to sign up for. They have different alcohol tasting classes for adults. So you can do. They have like a whiskey one, a mixology one. I signed up for the martini one.
Who would have thought that Disney would have something like this?
I
on the
know,
ship?
shocking. And they're an extra cost, but they're fairly reasonable. And then there is an adult only dining room that you can have brunch or dinner at. So I signed up for brunch. It's called Apollo. I know some of the bigger ships have more than one adult dining, but the Wonder only has the one. And then for the kids, there's Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique on board, which we did not do. And there's the spa, so you can sign up for massages or pedicures. And I think that's kind of it for the activities that you had to sign up for ahead of time. Normally, they do have some character meet and greets that you sign up for, but they did not do any of those type of character meet and greets for this cruise. It was all kind of, they would put the time on your daily activities calendar and you would show up and have your socially distanced interaction. And
So it's kind of like in the parks.
yeah, for sure. Although, I don't know, I feel like it was more planned, it felt like, than in the parks. Like they wouldn't tell you exactly who was going to be there, but they would give you like a category and exactly where they were going to be and what time and how long they were going to be there. So,
I mean, that's really nice.
Yeah.
I kind of wish the parks had that sometimes.
right, it would be very convenient.
So what kind of different things did you have to prepare for with this still being, we still have COVID and of course there's all sorts of precautions. Was there anything extra that you had to do to prepare to get on the ship because of
So
COVID?
for this cruise, everyone over 12 had to be vaccinated. So we did need to upload our vaccine information about, I want to say it was 33 days ahead of time was when that window
So
opened.
very specific.
Yeah. And then for everyone 12 and under or under 12, you had to be tested 3 days ahead of time and upload that information. And then absolutely everyone, whether vaccinated or not, had to be tested right before you board. So they did that right in the terminal.
What was that process like?
It was actually really cool. So you get a specific time to show up, a window. So our window was, we were boarding group 2 and our time was like 11 to 11:15. And you show up and they have you stand in line and they had maybe 5 or 6 different kind of curtained areas where they had people doing testing. So you would go and stand outside and they would let you in. And there was a person there, a medical person, and you do the test yourself. So we had to do our own swabs. I think I did Jude. And then you go and wait in the terminal. And it took about 45 minutes to get the results back. And they just emailed them to you. And it said, you're cleared to board.
That's pretty cool. So this was
Nice.
like the nasal swab thing like everybody does?
Exactly. It was PCR.
One more COVID-related question because I
Get
know that's
past all
not.
this.
Yeah, I know that's not the fun part of the cruise, but I think it is important because
No, it is.
it's interesting because it's unique to this time for sure. So, what were some of the other kind of like rules and restrictions that you and Jude had to adhere by while on the ship?
So everyone, while you're inside, has to wear masks at all times.
Which on a cruise ship is like a lot of the time.
Right. And they had, and I think normally this is a normal part of cruising. There's a million hand washing stations and sanitizer everywhere, but they definitely had people crew members standing there reminding you. You were not allowed to go into any dining room, even the shops. They had someone standing there reminding you to sanitize. So the cruise was running about a third the normal capacity.
So I just saw, I thought it was actually your cruise. I saw a video. One of the channels I watch is Leg Life, and they're known for like Disney cruise videos. They actually went on the one right after you.
Yep. It was right after me.
Yeah. Oh, you watched it too?
No, when we were getting ready, I watched a lot of YouTube videos ahead of time. So I knew they were planning. So
yeah.
I kind of looked around and figured out when they were going.
So I saw that they did it like right after you, and they were saying that they asked at the thing at the check-in desk, and on their cruise in particular, there was only like 900 and something people on the cruise. Mm-hmm. And I feel like for a cruise ship, that's not a high number.
No.
So I definitely, and then they showed video of them like going around and a lot of stuff, and I've been on a couple cruises myself, and it seemed downright pleasant that there weren't as many people on the cruise, because like you could go around. In the dining rooms, there was like empty seats, because usually in a dining room, you're all crammed in there, and during the buffets and everything, usually there's just a ton of people. So you probably had a really great experience when it comes to that.
Yeah, for sure. There was, in the dining rooms, we would go to dinner, and none of the tables around us had any people in them at all. It was very pleasant on the upper decks. We never had any problems finding a lounge chair or
so jealous.
Anything, that we wanted to do. It was easy breezy. None of even the shows, there was, because they had a limited capacity. So all of the shows were like every other row, but because there were so few people on board, we never had a problem finding a seat. The only thing that we did run into was the movies on board. Again, because they have a limited capacity, they would fill up very quickly. And lots of people turned away.
Wow, interesting.
So that was
of all things, the movies.
I know, right? And they're movies Jungle Cruise was one of the movies. It's been on Disney Plus for a while.
Right. Right.
And I'm sure these people on the cruise probably had Disney Plus.
Right.
I guess.
So, the downside of that was, there weren't as many activities. There weren't a lot of the things that we would have been looking forward to. The deck parties weren't happening. The trick-or-treating that normally would have happened on a Halloween cruise. They still did the fireworks on board. They still did Pirate Night. So a lot of the stuff was still happening, but it was more low key. But for us, because this was our first cruise, I think it was nice that we had this experience. And, if we go back and it's not COVID restrictions, we'll get the full experience. But this felt like kind of easing into it. And now I feel like more of a pro.
Do you feel like you got your value out of the cruise, even with the limitations?
So I do. And, something I hear a lot from people is, oh, Disney cruises are so expensive. They're so expensive. And honestly, I really feel like for a Disney experience, I don't feel like this was that expensive. It was definitely cheaper than a week in the parks. I'm saving for Walt Disney World right now, and it will probably be 3 times the cost of this cruise when we go.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So what other fun Halloween things did you guys get to do here? There was, a pirate deck party. Maybe that's always a thing. Maybe that's not just a Halloween thing. I don't know. I've not Disney cruised.
They didn't have the pirate deck party, but they did have the Halloween deck party.
Okay.
A version of it. That was done. They had little dots on the floor, and each family had to stand on their little dot, and
like you do at parties.
Yes, like you do. And they had the characters coming out in their costumes, and they did a big kind of dance party with music, and it was a lot of fun. So normally, like I said, they have trick-or-treating, but they didn't do it. But we did get a bag of candy in our room at night on our bed.
Okay, so tell us, what was in the bag?
It's like the same candy that you get at the Oogie Boogie Bash. So I was
That's funny.
Oh, more of this candy I have to eat. I personally enjoy the peanut butter Snickers the most, and I should have asked for more of those.
Did you get any of the magical grapes that for some reason are always perfect?
No grapes.
Dang it.
But I'm sure the cruise ship grapes would have been great if I had some. No grapes on the cruise ship. And then, we dressed up. People go kind of all out on board for their costumes. We dressed as Jack and Sally, Jude and I.
Oh,
Cute.
And they do the party and the music. So when you walk around the cruise, there's Disney music playing out in the hallways all the time. And on
I need to live
the Halloween day,
that sounds amazing.
they had all the Halloween music playing, and Jude got to hear it's the song from the Frightfully Fun Parade that I think you guys told you guys that she loves that song, and they played it on board, so she was excited to hear it. Yeah, and then
awesome.
on Pirate Day, the pirate themed day, they play pirate music all day. So
That's kind of cool. I
love it.
Yeah.
I was surprised how much I loved the music. It just really it felt like the Disney atmosphere that this is why you pay for these expensive.
So is it like everywhere on board is this music?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Something I saw in that Leg Life video I want to ask you about, because I was telling Teresa, because she hasn't been on a cruise before.
Mm-mm.
And you have been on cruises, so you probably will know, you can compare the two, I guess. Tell us about the thing that most people hate doing on a cruise, the whole muster thing. Like, that looked like a really cool situation.
Yeah, they for COVID, they have it now. It's all on. So everything's in the app now, just like in the parks.
So there's a Disney Cruise Line app, like the Disneyland app?
There's a Disney Cruise Line app. And when you get on board, you connect to the Wi-Fi on board, and then the navigator is what they call it, which is they list all the daily activities and just everything you need to know about what dining room you go to or daily activities. And then, what dining room, because they do the rotational dining on board. So you go to a different dining room every night. They tell you where you're supposed to be, what time you're supposed to be there. And then also when you got on board, they have your muster drill on board, and it tells you which station you're supposed to go to, and you go and you just find it. And we were muster station M, and you go and you just scan it and take a picture of it, and then that's you checking in, and then there's someone, a crew member standing there to kind of make sure you're all checked in, and that was kind of the whole process.
That is so cool, because that whole process. Yeah.
So for those of us that haven't been on a cruise ever, can you explain what the purpose of this is?
So, I mean, I was a kid when I went, but I remember standing out and hearing all the long safety instructions, and it's not exactly the fun way to start your vacation.
It's the cruise equivalent of how to use your seatbelt on the airplane.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
And they still did that announcement, but it was like on the overhead speakers, and everyone was doing their thing.
It's like the FAA requires that the flight attendants give you the safety spiel and tell you where the exits are. And there's a flotation device, and you clip your belt and all that stuff. On a cruise, this is the place you are to go to based on your room and everything. This is where you will make your way if something's happening on the boat. And then, these are where the lifeboats are. And if something happens, here's how to get onto the lifeboats and how to do all these different things, and where your life preservers and all that stuff is located in your rooms and everything. So it's a safety thing.
So during normal times, are you having to do this kind of like in a large group versus now you can do it through your phone?
Everybody does it at the
video?
same time, and everybody goes to their numbered muster station, and nobody can do anything else at that time. And then they announce a thing. Yeah, it's just a pain. I think, anyway, especially if you've done it. Like the first time I did it, it was cool because, just like the airport.
It's good information.
When you've never been on an airplane before, it's nice to know how to do it. But people that fly all the time, they just put earbuds in and watch a movie.
For me, that whole drill and talking repeatedly about all the safety stuff would really scare Jude. Honestly,
oh sure.
When we fly, I really always try to distract her from that because she doesn't need to think about the ship sinking. So I was grateful that we didn't have to go through all of that.
Oh, that makes total sense.
Yeah. You know what we didn't ask? Where was the cruise to and from?
Oh, so we were originally, we cruised out of San Diego, which we live about 2 hours from San Diego. So it was great and just easy breezy for us. We stayed down there the night before. So we were supposed to go to Cabo San Lucas. Unfortunately, there was a hurricane that
Oh,
that was heading straight for Cabo San Lucas. So the day before we were supposed to leave, they sent out an email that they had changed our port to Ensenada, which I have been to Ensenada many times. It's only a couple hours from San Diego by car, so it's not that far. So mostly we just went in circles around the ocean, around San Diego, and then we went to Ensenada, and we didn't get off the boat. They that was another one of the COVID requirements, was that if you were vaccinated, you could just get off the boat and go do your thing. If you were unvaccinated, which was all the kids on board, you had to sign up for one of the port adventures through Disney, which for me personally, none of them sounded that exciting. And, they cost extra money. So I decided that I would prefer to get a massage and put that money towards.
I mean, who wouldn't?
Yeah. So I did that instead. And, for us, we were going for the Disney experience and the Halloween experience and not necessarily going into Ensenada. But we were traveling with another family, and they went to a restaurant, I think, and they had like all you can drink margaritas and made their own guacamole, I was told. And they had a blast. They really enjoyed it. But
I thought you were going to say all you can eat food, and I'm like, you get that on the cruise ship.
Right. All you can drink margaritas. But they decided there was no alcohol in them, so I don't know.
that's how you could drink so many.
Yeah.
So back to like the Halloween stuff. So you dressed up, there's, the party. What was the decor like? It's Disney. I feel like it wasn't like, here, we're just going to put a couple pumpkins there and maybe a spider web over here and call it good.
Decoration. So the boats for the Halloween on the High Seas cruise have a Halloween tree, which, so cool. It's like
different than the whatever Halloween tree
not like the tree in Disneyland in Frontierland. It's a giant life-size tree with a face on it and hanging pumpkins shaped like Mickey. And normally on the Halloween cruises, they have a whole story time under the tree, but they didn't have that. But they did have like character meet and greets under the tree. So that was really cool.
That tree does look cool. We have to put a picture of it somewhere because it's pretty sweet.
And then all of the windows, the big round windows had like stickers on them that made them look like jack-o'-lanterns, or some of them had spider webs. They were really cool. And then there was just pumpkin Mickeys and fall foliage, and it was cool. And then of course, one of the things about a Disney cruise is people decorate their doors with magnets.
Oh yeah.
So a lot of people on board decorated with a really elaborate Halloween themes, or we saw really cool Coco themed door.
Fun.
That must have been really
Someone
cool.
had stuck like a whole bag that said trick or treat on it, and they put candy in so you could take candy as you walked by.
Oh, fun. How fun.
Yeah.
I love that people like on Disney cruises really like lean into it and like really get into the fun and like prep. So they're like, I can be part of this magical experience, and this is how I'm going to be a part of it. That's so cool.
We saw a little bit of that at the hotels at Disney World. I feel like a lot of people have put things in their windows and stuff to be decorative. So tell us about your room.
So, staterooms on cruises are never huge, but I hear that Disney actually has pretty good sized rooms. And honestly, it was very comfortable. We weren't there to hang out in our room. So
no,
it worked great for us. We opted for an inside stateroom because Jude did not want to see the water, because she was a little nervous about that. So it was, there was no windows or any way to look out, but honestly, it was so quiet and so dark. I slept so well on that cruise because it was, super quiet, but it is small and I overpacked. So, but there's lots of cabinets and closet space that's surprisingly good for a room that size.
How do you think Jude would have felt because they have those magic portholes window things that are kind of more like a screen than an actual window, and like characters and stuff come up and stuff like that? Do you think that would have been?
Yeah, that would have been fine. And honestly, the TV in our room like a screen where you could watch. It looked like it was an animation of the ship, and then you'd see every once in a while you'd see like Dumbo flying by, or Tinkerbell. The Up House. Yeah, the Up House. That was my favorite one.
Oh, cute. Very fun.
My favorite channel on a cruise is to watch. A lot of times they'll have like a camera facing like the front of the ship or something so you can see what's going on. I always like that type of stuff.
Yeah, they had that. And then you could put on, the Disney music, which I love, just to listen to in the room even.
So what were the beds like? Was it just like one bed? Did you have two smaller separate beds? How was the room set up that way?
So there is a queen size bed. And then there's a couch that makes into a bed. And then up in the ceiling, there's another bed that comes down and makes a second bunk bed.
Holy cow. So you could put 4 people in this room.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You can do 4 people in there.
They definitely maximize the space.
Yeah.
Our friends that we were sailing with, there was 5 of them in one stateroom because they had a 2-year-old. And you can request a baby like crib.
Like a pack and play thing.
Yep, and also the who knew? I did not know this. You can get a diaper genie to be taken to your room too.
What?
Oh,
yeah, I know.
I mean, you and Jude don't need that, but yeah,
Disney's thinking of everything. Wow. I can't imagine.
Cool.
I mean, I've never done a cruise, but like what I've seen of cruise rooms, I couldn't imagine having.
Yeah, they really.
I think 2 people sounds good.
Space well. And then of course, you have your stateroom attendant coming in to make your bed and clean up and organize for you, which is a dream come true. And I miss that woman every day.
I have a question for you, Teresa. So normally when we go stay at a hotel, you don't like people coming in the room and doing stuff. On a cruise ship, they come in and leave you like the fancy little like towel animals and stuff. So would you just forego the towel animal?
No, I think I'd be okay with it on a cruise.
Okay. I was just curious because when James and I have gone on cruises, like they will come into your room multiple times throughout the day to do different things. So like your first day you come in and the bed's set up a certain way and then you leave. And when you come back later that night, they've taken kind of the decorative parts off and then they've put like your little animal and like some candy or something. So it's kind of, and they've already like cleaned the room sometimes before that. Like it's very interesting how they do all of this.
That sounds okay. How do I want to say this? That sounds like more of an experience than like what you get at a like hotel
where they just come in and empty your trash and make the bed.
Yeah, but they don't need to do that.
I honestly don't know. Piedad was the name of our stateroom host. I don't know when she slept because she always seemed to be in the hall. And I would get up in the morning and we would get room service in the morning for just coffee and pastries. And I would put it out there and she would be in the hallway. And then at night when we go to bed, she was in the hallway. She was just kind of always there and so kind and just.
That's how I felt about our attendant too. There was like a head attendant and like 1 or 2 helpers for like that section of rooms. And I felt the same way. He was like always around. And I was just like you were saying, when do you sleep or what do you do? But they're there in the morning. They're there throughout the day. A lot of times if you call and need something, they're the ones who come and drop it off for you. And they're so amazing. They're like, I'm sure at Disney was even better. But on the 2 cruises I went on, it wasn't a Disney cruise, but they were like Disney cast level of attendant to you and friendly and all that stuff.
I felt terrible because the last night, so you pack up your bags and you put them outside your room. And I knew that you did that, but I didn't know there was like a time you were supposed to have them out by. And we had gone to see one of the Broadway style shows and we got back to the room. It was, maybe 9:30ish. And I was packing up and taking my sweet time and Piedad was standing in the hallway as usual. And I brought out my first suitcase. And then she's like, oh, you're ready to go. And I was like, oh, I've got a couple more. And then it dawned on me that she was waiting for me.
Oh no.
And I was like, are you waiting for me? And she said, yes, but don't worry about it. It's my job. But oh man, I felt horrible that she was waiting up for me and my giant overpack.
And now you're just throwing everything in the last thing and just take it. It's fine.
I brought way too much stuff.
So you kind of touched upon this a little bit. We talked about room service. Tell us what was dining like on the cruise? 'Cause I feel like, right, the food is a big part of cruises.
It's got to be.
The first, let me say, the dining rooms were amazing. Just it was, they were experiences. Just the atmosphere almost outshone the food because it was.
Wow.
It was. All of them were so cool, and there was entertainment, and it was just my favorite part, I think, of the cruise was.
What were the themes of the places you dined?
So there's 3 dining rooms on the Wonder. There's Tiana's place, which is themed like the movie, and there's Animator's Palette, which
I've heard that's an experience.
They have that on several of the ships have Animator's Palette, and we were there for 2 nights because we were on a 4-night cruise, and there's three dining rooms. So we did Pirate Night and our Halloween night were both in Animator's Palette. And Triton's Place is the 3rd dining room, and that has a Little Mermaid theme, and it's kind of that's I would say the least of the themed rooms, but still there was still a show with characters, and then the food was really, I think my favorite food was at Triton's Place. I mean, at Triton's, not Triton's Place.
So what types of things did you get to eat and drink and enjoy?
Well, Jude tried escargot for the first time.
Really?
She tried it. She put it in her mouth. She did not enjoy it. So I ate the rest of that. But I was really proud of her for trying it.
Mm-hmm.
All the food was, there's lots of seafood, and there was some type of steak every single night you could choose from.
Perfect.
And, you would get an appetizer, a soup or a salad, and then some, your entree and your dessert. And you can, if you wanted to have 3 appetizers, they would do that. One night I had 2 desserts because
that's something for people who've never been on a cruise. I did not know this. The first night I ordered whatever, and the portion sizes they're fine. Like if you don't eat very much, it's like a good portion. I eat a lot, so like I was like, oh, but I realized people next to us, like you can order if there's like 3 entrees on the menu, you can order all 3 entrees, and they will bring you all 3 entrees.
And all that's in. So how does that work for pricing? Because I know some food stuff is included, and then some stuff you might have to pay extra for. So what was that like with your dining experiences, or was it all included?
So in the dining rooms, all the actual food was included. If you had alcohol, that was extra.
Sure.
Which I did. And honestly, the prices for the alcohol on board, I thought was very reasonable. It was not expensive at all. So that's in the actual dining rooms. Now, if you go, they have like coffee shops on board where you can go and have a beignet and a cafe au lait. So if you did something like that, that would cost. They had a concession stand outside of the theater where the Broadway style shows were, and that the sodas and things there would cost money. But there's also on board a station where you go and on a non-COVID cruise, you just help yourself to the sodas. But they had people standing there. All the room service is included, except for there's some things on the menu that are not, which is different than a lot of cruises, because a lot of cruises do charge you for room service, but Disney does not. There's a lot of it that's included.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's awesome.
But the kids figured out really quickly that they could get all the mac and cheese that they wanted.
Like of all the things.
Well, there's like soft serve too. That's usually all you can soft serve and stuff.
Well, up on the upper decks, they have cabanas, which is the buffet, and then they have out on the outside areas by the pools. There's different little like walk up food, kind of casual food places where you can get. There's like a sandwich place. There's the soft serve. There's a place that had pizza. Let's see, what else was there? There was
probably a burger place, I would guess.
Burgers. They had hot dogs, that kind of thing. Chicken fingers. Chicken fingers were a big hit for everyone.
So this is weird. So I watched part of the Ordinary Adventures vlog, and they happen to be on the same cruise as you.
Yep.
But he was going on and on and on and on about the chicken fingers. Apparently, they're like the chicken fingers on Disney cruises are amazing. So
I tried them. They were good, but I'm not a chicken finger connoisseur by any means. I really enjoyed.
I just thought it was funny. I'm like, of all the things, it's the chicken
Right.
fingers.
Yeah, God, I thought the desserts were kind of but I'm a dessert person,
Mm.
and we would love to go sit at the little cafe that's themed for Princess and the Frog, and we would sit and get Jude would get a steamed milk, and I would get my cafe au lait, and they would give you macaroons or macarons or however you say it.
Macarons.
Yes, the crew members would keep bringing them out for us, and you could get a
Wow.
beignet, and so that was kind of our favorite.
That sounds
Were the macarons
dangerous for you.
included,
Jay.
or were you buying them each time?
Well, you paid for the drink, but they kept bringing extra for us.
I think that's my place. Now, did you get an opportunity to visit the buffet, and what was that like? Especially with like COVID stuff, was the food good? Was there a lot of variety? Was it one of the things that I feel like I would always wonder is like when I go up, sometimes a buffet is a good opportunity to try things that you maybe wouldn't normally eat, but because you don't want to be wasteful or whatever. So I feel like when I've gone to buffets, I get just like a little bit of something on the side that I want to try, or a whole dozen little bits of things. I just worry if like it's a buffet where they're serving you that they give you a pretty healthy portion, then you're like, well, can't quite taste things how I'd like to taste things. But what was that, I guess, like?
We did cabanas for all three of our breakfast. One of them I didn't eat at because I was going to brunch at Palo. And then we had lunch once at cabanas. And the portions were not huge, I would say. Cabanas wasn't my favorite just because I really like the sit down dining experience, and getting to have that kind of fancy experience on the cruise was part of the appeal for me. But Jude really liked it. And they had those Mickey waffles on board were so good. And I've had them in the parks, but I don't know. There was something about those Mickey waffles that they were great.
Was there a lot of variety, but like during the lunchtime and stuff? Was there a lot of options at the buffet, or not really? Or
yeah, I don't know how many options they have normally, but there's all the hot dishes you can get, and then there's like a whole section where they do kind of seafood, and then you can do salads, and then there's a dessert section. So I felt like there was a lot of stuff, but it didn't feel overwhelming. It didn't, when you go and there's so many choices, it didn't feel like that at all.
So, Kate, you kind of told us that there was a few adult-specific experiences that you did. There was the martini class, and then, of course, dining at the adults-only restaurant, Paolo. Can you tell us about those two experiences?
Yeah, Paolo was amazing. It was me and it's actually Jude's Girl Scout leader, who her and her family were on board with us. So she and I went and had our adult-only brunch, and the food was amazing. The view was gorgeous from Palo. It's right in the front of the ship. So
oh wow,
it was beautiful. And our server just could not stop trying to pressure us to eat everything on that menu. And honestly, both of us, it was a $45 additional charge, and both of us had the same reaction. Like, are we sure this is just $45? Because it was
that's good.
So much food and
wow,
so good. And they do include one. I had a mimosa, but I think you could also choose a Bloody Mary with it. And God, yeah, we had a plate of just different seafood, and then different cured meats. We had pasta with that meal. It was incredible.
wow.
So yeah,
I was gonna say just those things, and you said this was a brunch, so it's like
there was.
He
brought us a whole basket of just beautiful pastries. So yeah, I kind of wish I'd eaten there. You can only do one brunch and one dinner, but I kind of wish I'd done dinner once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next time.
Yeah,
Next time.
exactly.
Yeah, that's not a bad deal. $45
No.
and, to do that, and you get something, and it's adults only, so it's just the adult stuff.
Martini class. Was
go ahead.
Yeah, that was, like I said, they had the different tastings on board, and I timed this really badly because I signed up for it before I knew what time our dinner was. So I signed up for a class that was right before dinner, and I'm a bit of a lightweight, so I it was great though.
So you showed up to dinner.
A little bit on the tipsy side, but it was they do different martinis. There was a chocolate martini and just I think there was an espresso martini. It's all a little fuzzy now. It was just a few other people there, and they kind of show you how they make it, and you taste it.
That's cool.
I guess they do a wine one and a champagne one. I think if I were to do it again, I would maybe do the wine one. I think that would be interesting and fun.
Again, next time.
Where did you eat dinner that night?
That was Tiana's place.
Oh, okay.
Fun.
See, I feel like that would have been a good place to eat if you're a little tipsy, because like there's the show with Tiana. Because I saw that video from Leg Life, and that friend of Tiana sounded exactly like Tiana. I was like,
she was great. We really enjoyed that show because they get all of the servers involved, and at this point we were that was the last night that we were on board. So at that point we'd really formed a relationship with our servers, because one of the really cool things is that your servers stay with you.
That's
so
cool.
No matter what dining room you're in, you get the same server and assistant. So we had, really kind of bonded with them at this point. So to see them out dancing and doing the whole Mardi Gras show was tickling to see them. It was cute.
That's fun.
Yeah, and the guy that they had singing, who was doing the jazz, was great. A lot of fun.
We had so much fun talking with Kate and Jude about their Disney cruise during the Halloween time festivities. Please join us again next week as we conclude our interview with them. We do bring in Jude, who talks about her experience as a younger person on the cruise and some of the fun things that she was able to do. So tune in next week for that one. So our first piece of feedback we got from Mike Malone, who is Trucker Mike. We love talking to him on some of our streams. He says, "Hi, Take and Teresa. This is Trucker Mike. Just listen to your latest episode. Great episode. I have a correction, though, on one of your questions about the Haunted Mansion. The actual story comes from Rolly Crump. The story goes that during the development of the mansion, Yale Gracie and Rolly Crump had a room at Imagineering where they were developing the gags. Well, they left what they were working on, and they did this, and they did scare the custodians, so they were told that they had to turn off their projects, but being the jokesters they were, they rigged up the motion sensor so they would turn on when the cleaners would come in at night. That's when they were told that the cleaners weren't going to come back, and that they, Yale and Rolly, were going to have to clean their own room. They came from an interview Rolly did for the Imagineering story. Sorry this was long, but I love the story when he told it. So thanks, Mike.
I was so upset, Mike, when you wrote that in. I was like, oh my gosh, yes, I remember that now. Of course. Too little, too late. But thank you for jogging our memories. And yes, I do believe it was the Imagineering story that
I think so too.
They had that on. But such a great story. I love that they've been able to kind of capture these memories of people that, I mean, this is something we would have never known if it wasn't for them sharing about this. So I think it's great that we've got these like little gems and little tidbits. The next bit of feedback we got was from Danny. Danny writes, "Hello, big fan of your podcast. Just wanted to reach out and say on one of your recent podcasts you spoke about Minnie's missing cat and said it looked like Figaro. It is Figaro. I don't know how true this is, but according to the Disney Wiki, Walt Disney loved Figaro so much after Pinocchio, he made him Minnie's cat so he would appear in more cartoons. Love listening to the podcast. Just wanted to share that little bit of that little tidbit of information."
That's great that you let us know, Danny, because see, I didn't know any of this.
No, I didn't either.
So I'm glad that Minnie has a cat, and I'm glad it's Figaro. Figaro's a cute little cat.
Oh, he's adorable.
There's also the story of Figaro. It's not there anymore since it became the Red Rose Tavern. But there used to be a sign that was installed incorrectly for the exit sign, and it was off-centered, so they painted a Figaro there, like pulling the sign away. It's gone now. When I went there and did my mobile order, I looked for it to think maybe it was still there. Nope.
They I do like the Figaro that they have in the princess area, like outside of the princess. What is that called? Fantasy Fair. Yep, outside of Fantasy Fair, there they have a little Figaro. Like not really
like
animatronic,
sleeping, like
but
napping.
Like he's a little figure that comes alive every once in a while. He's so cute.
Looks like we're coming in for a landing, gang. But please stay listening until trivia comes to a stop. And then you can walk to the nearest exit. Thanks for listening to the 8th wonder of the world, DLWeekly.
Welcome back to Trivia Land. How do you think you did?
I'm not very confident.
Not great. We started off strong, I feel, but
I gotta say, you started really strong, and you had me worried because I thought I had some really good stumpers for you, and then you hit the ground running, and I was like, "Oh,
and then fell
goodness."
flat on our faces.
So let's get right to the very start of it with that first question that was submitted by listener Jan Y. Where can you find the home of the Little Man of Disneyland? And this is the one where you hit the ground running so hard you knew exactly where it was, the base of a tree near the entrance to Indiana Jones.
woo!
That's
Well done on
the
that.
high point of trivia, folks.
You can all pack it up now. We probably did not do very well for the rest of this.
Your second question, and this is where I fell down the rabbit hole and started learning everything I could about the Little Man of Disneyland. In what year did Little Golden Books publish The Little Man of Disneyland? That was, your guesses, 2018 or 1998. And then, Tag, you second-guessed yourself and you thought maybe 2015, which...
No.
What, you didn't know? Oh, I wrote down 2015.
Nope, it was 18 the whole time.
Okay. Well, I wrote down 2015 then because 2015 was the second publication
Oh.
because it was
Okay,
the
maybe he did say 2015.
60-year anniversary of the first publication when they re-released it for the D23 60th anniversary of the opening of the park, which was also the original publication date of the book, which coincided with the opening of the park.
Oh, come on. We should have been able. Well,
I don't know.
if the questions would have been in a different order, we could have probably come to that conclusion.
Maybe.
Wow.
I did that on purpose, not letting the questions
So
line up.
1955 was the original publication, and then they republished it in 2015.
Yes.
Dang,
Wow.
that's cool.
Yep.
So I
Your
wonder if
third
2015 is when the stuff showed up.
See, that's what I'm thinking. I think it was around that time.
Did you in your rabbit hole, did you find out when the little,
Display.
stuff, the little display showed up?
Oh, yeah. It magically appeared during the weekend of the D23 Expo.
Oh, so 15 then.
Oh, it was 15 that it appeared.
Yeah.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Yep, during the 2015 D23 Expo. Anyway,
How cool.
And that came from the official D23 website.
Yes. Your third question about the Little Man of Disneyland. What is his name?
We were totally
Guesses?
wrong because I saw his name in the thing a minute ago.
I think
Your
ours
guesses
is
were,
good. Finnegan
Flanagan, or Finnegan O'Laughlin, or Phineas O'Shaughnessy, and his actual name is Patrick Begora.
So much less funky sounding than ours.
Yes.
I was going for a pun with my O'Laughlin.
O'Laughlin. Well, we're not O'Laughlin at that answer.
No, we aren't. Jeepers, that was a stretch.
James has rubbed off on me recently. I feel like I'm just popping out dad joke after dad joke.
Oh, goodness.
I don't know. That was worse. That maybe have been worse than a dad joke.
I don't know.
And the final question
Your
that we
final
got
question. The story has it that 3 well-known Disney characters negotiated with Patrick Begora in order to build Disneyland on his property. Who were these 3 great negotiators? You guessed Mickey, Minnie, and Goofy, Tag. And Teresa guessed Mickey, Jiminy, and Thaddeus Toad. The correct answer, earning Tag half a point, was Mickey, Donald, and Goofy.
Woo!
Good job on your half point. I still like my group of negotiators.
I mean, I think it'd be very interesting.
So, listeners, how do you think they did?
Not well.
How did you do listening at home?
Hopefully
Do you
better.
have a great question that you think could send me down another interesting rabbit hole? If you'd like to send something in, feel free to do so at trivia@dlweekly.net.
Well, we will be back next week with more Disneyland news and information.
Until then, go out and enjoy the parks.
Please remain seated until the podcast comes to a complete stop and the doors have opened. Then collect your belongings, watch your head, and step carefully from the episode. On behalf of all of our crew, thanks for traveling with us. And we hope you have a happy and memorable visit here at DL Weekly.